Hold on a second. I want to say something. I know this is not a forever instrument. I know that. I know that this is a beginning instrument. This is your first instrument. This is your first guitar. Why is Loog only 3 strings? And specifically, why is it only the G, B, and E strings? What is the point of having a 3-string guitar? What's the point of having a 3-string guitar that looks like the size of a ukulele? If you ever wonder why Loog only has 3 strings, I'm going to do my best today to cover this topic as clearly as I can in this lesson. It's more like a discussion. Stay tuned. Hey everyone, it's Mr. Will with Loog Nation, where future guitarists start. You know I love the Loog. I've been talking about this instrument for over a couple of years now. Wow, it's almost coming up on 2 years of doing Loog Nation. I love this instrument as a guitar teacher. Yes, I am a 6-string guitar teacher and have been for over 20 years. So what's turned me on to the Loog? It's given me a chance to expand the range of students that I can have. I can now teach 4, 5, and 6-year-olds easily with the Loog. Why the Loog? Because of the 3 strings. 3 strings. It's an interesting debate. I've heard a lot of you chatting with me on my YouTube channel right here about why these 3 strings instead of the other 3 strings. Now, if you're new to guitar, most 6-string guitars are tuned to a specific tone. E, A, D, G, B, E. And the Loog is the G, B, and E strings. Musicians like to call that strings 3, 2, and 1. Let's talk about the 3-string advantage of a Loog first. So, with my younger students, ages 4, 5, and 6, even 7, a 6-string guitar is a lot to handle. It's very overwhelming. It's got a huge, wide neck that might be hard to reach. It's got 6 strings. That's a lot of strings to put together to make an instrument sound good. 6 strings is very overwhelming to small hands. Hence, 3 strings. 3 strings makes the neck half as wide, and it gives access to the thinnest 3 strings. We have strings E, B, and G. Strings 1, 2, and 3. This allows small fingers to reach all the strings. And you know, as a player, we want small wins in order to feel good about our playing and to keep coming back to playing an instrument. What I've seen over the past 20 years of teaching is that players put down their guitar because it's overwhelming. It's too much. There's too much going on. There's too much to learn. And ultimately, it's just really hard to actually make a good tone. And making great tones is what I'm all about. The Loog is all about making great tones and having small wins very fast. 3 strings, you have half the amount of strings to learn. The thinner strings are much easier to press down on the fretboard. So we get a lot of wins right away, making a great tone. Making a good chord. 3 tones make up a chord. The 3 tones that we create with strings G, B, and E allow us to change our chords. Here we are. Why G, B, and E strings as compared to the E, A, D strings? Here's why. And I think this is pretty genius of the Loog overall and the design. Yes, you could just tune a 3-string guitar to strings E, A, and D, but we're very limited in chord options. A lot of you players out there have talked about playing power chords and being able to get your young ones to play power chords quickly. I get that. Power chords are awesome. And when I teach 6-string guitar to older players, we work on power chords. Power chords are 2 tones on the lowest strings. You start working on chord shapes with strings G, B, and E. Your chord shapes change at the top of the guitar on frets 1, 2, and 3. We can learn a whole host of shapes to create chords. And chords are 3 tones put together to create what they call in music a triad. And a triad can have a lot of different families. We can have families. Families? A triad can have a lot of different families. We can have the major family, the minor family, diminished, sevenths, things like that. And with strings G, B, and E, we have a lot more range of choices. we can learn different chord shapes in order to start understanding the different triad families. That's big music talk. What I'm talking about is the difference between a happy chord and a sad chord. So major and minor chords change depending on which notes you play. With the strings G, B, and E, you get those options. And they're readily available right here at the top of the guitar, where most players start off playing. Power chords are great, don't get me wrong. Bar chords are amazing. That's why I teach later on with a 6-string guitar. Yes, I want to hear your arguments. Please let me know. What do you think is the advantage of having strings E, A, and D, or the lower strings, and just power chords? Ooh, this is a really good conversation. Come on, chime in. I want to talk about it. Let me know what you think about the lower strings and when learning a guitar. Let's go back to small wins. I think that's the theme today, small wins. How do we get small wins quickly on a new instrument? 3 strings is how you do it. With these chord shapes, we're learning how to move our fingers, build our finger dexterity, our chord knowledge, chord shapes, and the difference between happy chords and sad chords. All within one change of the finger. By the way, that was A major to A minor. So, I think that's pretty smart of Loog to use G, B, and E as their standard strings and tuning for the Loog. Small wins. Let's talk about more small wins. The thinner strings makes it easier to press down on the fretboard, to press the string to the fret and change the tone. This is why we use thinner strings. On a 6-string guitar, E string or an A string is really thick and can be kind of challenging to press down. Not only the reach, it's really hard to reach a 6-string E string because we have to reach across a really wide neck. A 3-string guitar like the Loog has a very short neck. I can obviously reach all of these notes very easily, but I've seen 4, 5, and 6-year-olds with small hands, little fingers, be able to reach all the strings. There's a small win. And start to understand the shape that the hand needs to be in, the use of the thumb on the neck, and the pressure it takes to press down a string on the fretboard. I love that about the 3 strings. So we get a lot of differences and a lot of options with 3 strings, G, B, and E. We get small wins with having 3 strings as compared to 6. The small wins are not only in the design because it's thinner and we have more availability to reaching the strings, but we also have the option of learning how to move our fingers and learn chord shapes. Here's the other thing I love about the Loog and Loog's 3-string design. The 3 strings that you're playing here are the first 3 strings of a 6-string guitar. So as you start to learn some simple chord shapes, especially a D or a D minor or D7, these families of sounds are immediately transferable. They can go right into the 6-string guitar. We don't have to worry about learning different names or different shapes as compared to a ukulele. And we don't have to feel the pressure of now understanding strings 1, 2, and 3, which I think are more complicated than strings E, A, and D. I hope this helps shed some light on why there are only 3 strings and why specifically there are strings G, B, and E as compared to the lower 3 strings E, A, and D. I love this instrument. If you have any questions about the Loog, please leave me a comment below. I'd love to chat with you about how this instrument can help your little one, or if you're brand new to learning guitar, why I think even a 3-string guitar is good for you. Yeah, it's very accessible. I think it is so easy to pick up and play, and it's really fun to learn. Hold on a second, I want to say something. I know this is not a forever instrument. I know that. I know that this is a beginning instrument. This is your first instrument. This is your first guitar. You're going to grow into a 6-string guitar. I hope you do. I want you to have the best advantage for growing into that 6-string guitar. And that's where the Loog is so smart. By keeping it the same tones of the first 3 strings, you've already learned a lot about the guitar that can transfer over immediately to a 6-string guitar. I love that. Guys, if you have anything else you'd like to add, let me know. I also would love a healthy conversation, a kind and warm conversation about guitars and why certain guitars are maybe better in your opinion than others. I'd love to have this conversation. This is the place to have it. On the internet, here on YouTube, especially here at Loog Nation. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. We're here every Thursday with a new video. Check out those shorts as well. I've got a whole series on early music education and why your child benefits so much from playing an instrument. And of course, any rock star at heart would love to play the guitar. So pick up a Loog, check out more videos, stay in touch. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.